I went to the second protest on digital ID, where some people have some scary thoughts about what digital ID will become.
Do you think there's any other sort of behind-the-scenes authorities that are orchestrating this tyrannical plan? Who?
The devil.
The devil's going to play. He's going to play people in different ways. I'm not really too sure about the mark of the beast, but there's definitely something evil behind it.
The organisers are talking about the digital ID eventually becoming what's known as the mark of the beast. What do you think about that?
They're probably telling the truth, I'm sure they are.
From what I can tell, this protest was organised by the People's Platform and started at 1 PM at Marble Arch on November the 22nd, on a very horrible and wet day, which is probably why it started off with just me and this one lonely geezer with a massive flag. The People's Platform is a grassroots movement advocating for freedom, and it looks like the beautiful Nazarene Veronica and a guy called Nacho, no relation to the savoury snack, are involved. Bloody hell, one overt protester in the whole square and Starmer's bacon bitches are already on him like flies on runny dog turd. At this point, they outnumbered both me and Flagman by quite a few pork scratchings.
What did the old Bill just say to you then?
They wanted to just know like what time it starts, where we're going, and whatever. I don't know.
Surely they know off the organisers. The organisers must have spoke to the Met about this.
Why would you do that?
It's for like disruption and stuff like
I
that.
take it you weren't involved in any of the COVID process. Yeah, so you'd know then that we didn't liaise with the police at all, ever.
Well, I don't speak to the organisers about it, but I assumed so from other ones.
100% throughout those processes. Never did we ever liaise with the police.
Are you part of the organisation?
I have no idea what's going on here. I saw a post on social media, that's why I'm here.
Was it me, or did he seem a bit off? I guess there's no joviality allowed when you're fighting tyranny. Saying I was disappointed at the numbers of people here is a bit like saying I mildly dislike the Labour Party. I mean, we're talking about complete government control and digital enslavement here, people. What, a bit of rain and everyone's like, "Oh, govern me harder, Daddy Starmer." But thankfully, as 1 o'clock drew closer, a few patriotic freedom fighters did begin to assemble into their regiments ready for battle. Now, the People's Platform might not have the reach of some of the bigger freedom fighting organisations like Together, but they got artwork that rivals Da Vinci on acid.
Guys, please, there's loads of leaflets here. We've got tens of thousands. We really need your help today. We really need your help. This is a team effort. If you don't have leaflets, guys, what are you doing? Come get your leaflets.
Corey's demanding. Now, while I'm not sure that berating the freedom fighters like naughty school kids is particularly helpful, I do like that idea. The People's Platform brought out enough flyers to wallpaper Big Ben and got the patriotic protesters to hand them out to bystanders during the march. Good initiative.
We all know the dangers of digital ID. I'm a contributor on the People's Platform, but I haven't organised this.
Okay, so what do you think is the ultimate outcome of digital ID? Why are they trying to implement it?
So I believe that they are trying to implement a social credit system like in China, and digital ID is the first step of this, and that's the same thing that happened in China. That was the first step. And there are other countries where people are living like slaves, and digital ID is always linked to that, as well as facial recognition cameras and state surveillance. And I can see where digital ID leads to, and I know that we will we'll follow in that same direction. I've never been one for complying, and this is not going to change now. So digital ID needs to be stopped or prevented from happening. And if everyone stands up together, we'll be fine, because the same thing as the COVID vaccine. We stood up to it, and they couldn't actually mandate it how they planned to, because there were too many people standing up against it. So the same thing will happen with this, and we need to carry on speaking out and doing what we're doing.
If they somehow do manage to get digital ID through Parliament and they manage to implement it on the people, what do you think will be the practical outcomes? Do you think people won't be able to access their banks if they deem I think they call it a community impact score over here.
Yeah.
Do you think it will get to the point where they say, well, you've not been a good citizen, you haven't got access to your bank, or you've used up all your carbon credits this week, so you can't buy any more petrol? Do you think it will get to that point if they do?
I do. If they do implement it, I do think it will get to that point.
How long do you think it will take to get to that point? Because they probably won't do it immediately, will
No,
they?
I think it will happen quite fast though, because they're already beginning to implement digital ID now. with like one login and stuff. So I think it actually will take around 5 years. So
Until it goes to the full
2030,
totalitarian
I believe
control.
so. I don't think they need that much time because people are already, a lot of them are already saying, go on then.
And they're already tracking your carbon credits on your bank and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah.
Digital ID is being implemented in multiple countries around the world at the same time. Do you think that's a coincidence, or do you think that's
No,
all
I
part of a
think
plan
it's-
or an
yeah,
agenda?
I think it's a worldwide agenda led by the World Economic Forum, along with the World Health Organization. They're linking.
So you think they are the main forces, the WEF, the WHO? Do you think there's any other sort of behind-the-scenes authorities that are orchestrating this
The
tyrannical
devil.
plan? Who?
The devil.
The devil. So
Yeah,
you believe it
he's
is the
behind
mark of the
them.
beast then?
I do.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised she said that too. She said the devil. Now I know it sounds a little strange, but being a Christian, this thought had crossed my mind more than once too. A little background on the mark of the beast. In the Bible, it says that in the end times, a global authority will impose the mark of the beast upon the people of the world. The mark will be on the right hand or the forehead, and without the mark, people won't be able to buy or sell anything. This has led many people to believe that eventually, digital ID will be implemented by inserting a tiny microchip into the hand or forehead, and once connected to a central bank digital currency, will be used for totalitarian control, and all transactions have to go through your digital ID. Now, is it really too far-fetched to think that you won't be able to buy or sell anything without digital ID? Comrade Starmer's already saying you can't work without it. Buying or selling of goods is just one small step further.
I'm a Christian myself, but Christians say, well, this is God's plan, so it will happen, right? I think that's a danger because it means that people will accept that it's going to happen rather than try and fight it at every turn.
Yeah, if this is the mark of the beast, then I do think that it is very likely to happen. Although in the Bible it doesn't say that you should submit to it and allow them
Yeah.
to do it.
You
It
should
says
still
anyone
fight.
who gets the mark will be destroyed. And that's our warning. As Christians, we need to read that Bible and listen to that part. It doesn't say, oh, submit and allow it to happen and allow that to, be implemented into your body. Because it will be a microchip eventually. It
Yeah.
says that we need to stand up and
Fight
anyone
it
who
at every
gets it will
turn.
be destroyed. So,
Yeah. Okay.
I still think we have to do something about it. It doesn't mean I'm just going to allow it to happen.
Agreed. All right, well, thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
That's
Thank you.
Cheers.
Let's go march, let's go liberate humanity from these corrupt, nefarious systems of control. Because we are... Where's my pistol? At this Friday night in America.
Say they do implement digital ID. What is the plan of action? What can you do about it? What other things can people do
What
to
we need to
stand
do
up?
is wake up the people. You need to start going to your councillors, you need to start going to your MPs, get involved in local politics, get involved in your local community organisations, get involved with churches. They're trying to take religion away from us. These are evil people, they don't believe in God. Get involved in your local churches, your mosques, your temples, get involved in them, educate people, let people know what's happening, let them know what's going on, and tell them that if this system is used the wrong way like they're using in China, what can really happen to the people, how they can control you. As I said earlier to that chap, in China now there's people which are homeless, and the reason they're homeless, not because they've got drug issues or alcohol issues or they've had a bad life, because they've lost the ID. And that's what can happen here. Someone when they've got the ID and all your lifestyle, your bank details, your driving license, everything's on there, and you don't behave, they disconnect you from the world. And another way to get out of this system is start growing your own food, get involved in local organisations, start thinking outside the system, where we should be teaching this at school to kids, how to grow their food and how to make real money and all that. They're not taught that because once they're taught that, they're free from the system. So learn how to get free from the system. There's loads of stuff on the internet you can do to empower yourself, empower your family and empower your neighbours, and talk to people with love and compassion, because this war is about love against evil. And the only way we're going to win is if we talk from love, because this is an evil system, and evil will only prevail when good people do nothing, and good men have to stand up, and women, and a lot of women are. And I think a lot of people are awake, so just keep empowering people.
You mentioned that you're Sikh, and you mentioned that this is a sort of demonic force which is trying to implement digital ID. The People's Platform, Nazarene Veronica, she said that she thinks it's the mark of the beast. What are your thoughts on that? Because you mentioned demonic.
Yeah. Well, 100% there's an evil agenda behind it. I don't really know a lot about that, but I've heard it in Christianity. I'm not Christian myself, so the mark of the beast, I've heard about it, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I mean, the devil's going to play, and he's going to play people in different ways. I'm not really too sure about the mark of the beast, but there's definitely something evil behind it. There's an evil power or some evil agenda behind. There's even an agenda 100%, but it's 100% evil.
Say no to digital ID at every opportunity, or otherwise you're going to be living inside a computer, and there'll be no way for you to get out of there. The digital ID! We say no! The digital ID! We say no! The digital ID! We say no! The digital ID!
The organisation Anti-Tech Resistance. We're an international organisation fighting against technological domination in all spheres of society. And we're fighting against digital ID because it's just another one of the ways that this technological expansion is controlling us and trying to survey us and gain more and more control over our lives.
Yeah. And what brought you to that? What's your background that led you to this sort of activism?
Well, I actually worked in tech for a while.
I heard you speaking to the other guy over there about digital ID.
Yeah.
What is the ultimate goal of digital ID that the elites are trying to push on us?
Sure. Well, basically, the way I see it, digital ID is an acknowledgement of the fact that we're already being controlled and surveyed every day by, cameras, by our phones. We're being tracked by thousands of different systems, data systems, and all the government's doing is basically with this saying, okay, you accept it, you consent to it now, right? It's just a layer on top of it. But whether or not they pass this digital ID law, the way I see it, the result is the same. We're still being tracked, we're still being surveilled. So one way or the other, I think this sort of dystopian, this technological dystopia is going to get worse and worse.
Do you think it will get to the point where, as you say about accessing services, do you think it will get to the point where they say, right, well, you actually can't access services, you can't buy stuff in the shops? Do you think it will get to the point where they're literally like controlling your money and blocking you out of the system if you don't have a digital ID?
Yeah, I don't think it's unlikely. I think it's very tempting for people in power, in the government, whoever they are, to use this tech to control their opponents. And as soon as let's say, this Palestine Action thing that recently happened, whether or not you agree with Palestine Action or not, this is a case where the government's just prescribed a certain group as dangerous to them, and now they've arrested them all. Maybe in the future they'll prescribe sort of less controversial groups as not terrorist groups, but maybe unwanted elements, and then restrict their access.
Like protesting against digital ID groups,
exactly.
They might be terrorists in the future.
Or protesting against big tech, like we do a lot.
Last question. It's not just England that's trying, or the UK that's trying to implement digital ID at the moment. Simultaneous things are happening in various countries around the world. Do you think that's just a coincidence, or do you think that there's some higher authority that's planning this digital ID system globally?
I don't necessarily know that there's a higher authority, but I do believe that all of these governments are working together to make this happen. I think it's much more convenient for them to have these methods of control. I think it makes the economy more efficient. I think it decreases crime. Like in China, crime is much lower. The economy is more efficient. They're taking over industries because they have such careful control of their population. And I think governments see this, and I think governments want to emulate what China's doing and see that it's making their sort of economy take off and it's making them super successful. So I see that as the main cause. Whether or not there's a single or multiple organizations who are trying to actually push this on people, I mean, certainly there are. Certainly there are multinational organizations, the UN, plenty of sort of think tanks that are influencing politics everywhere. So but I think it's a multitude of things. But I think the main force and the main driver behind it is just technological advancement and the search for more efficiency.
We say no! The digital ID! 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 We say no! We say no! The digital ID! 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 We say no!
we're all here to protest digital ID. What will be the practical implications on the populace of Britain, for example?
Well, I think we'll have to go back to being tribal. It's the only way we will survive.
Tribal?
Yeah.
So do you think they'll block your access to public services?
Oh, totally, yeah.
Food?
Yeah, you'll even be barred from the supermarkets as well.
You won't even be able to get in the supermarkets, you
No,
reckon?
they'll cut off all avenue for revenue of any sort.
How long do you think it will take to get to that point where, for example, you can't go food shopping and the social credit score and the carbon allowance? How long after they implement it do you think that will take place?
Well, they're counting on 2030, aren't they? So they've got another 5 years or just under that, maybe. But we've got to keep pushing back, though. Unity is our strength. Division is our weakness. We can't let these evil bastard psychopaths win. We've got to stand together on this.
The organisers are talking about the digital ID eventually becoming what's known as the mark of the beast. What do you think about
they're
that?
probably telling the truth, I'm sure they are.
Yeah?
You know, because you become a slave to the system, basically. So, yeah, you know.
So you won't be able to buy or sell without your digital ID?
No, exactly. You'll be denied all services. So even if you have to see a doctor or you have to see a dentist, you know, and even work or even going outside your own home, you'll need permission. You know, you have to have this tracking device on you. It's a bit like George Orwell 1984. You have a television in your home and you're forced to watch it whether you want to or not. And it's watching you, you know. Never buy anything that's smart because it's evil. It's not there for our convenience. It's there to control us.
Okay, so this girl here sang a song at the anti-immigrant march in Colchester, which I covered. So most likely, she's right-wing. Then you got these people here. Come on, probably commies. Not to mention people like bloody Piers Corbyn. I mean, yeah, sure, he'll protest anything. But nonetheless, all different people marching for one cause. It's just like this geezer said.
Unity is our strength. Division is our weakness. We can't let these evil bastard psychopaths win.
The left and the right have got to put their differences aside for this. The next protest is on December the 13th and it starts at the BBC. Well, everyone loves to have a go at the BBC, don't they? I believe this one is from Fiona at the non-compliance crowd. Now, whether you believe digital ID is the precursor to a microchip in your arm signifying the mark of the beast, or you just think it's the government's latest dumb idea, one thing I can promise you is that if they bring this in within a very short time, the government will have the ability to control your entire life. And just like China, if you step out of line, well, you can't leave your neighbourhood now, or your community impact score will go down. Oh, you've already eaten meat this week. Can't buy that bacon now, mate. You've used up all your carbon allowance. And it all starts with digital ID. So well done to the People's Platform on this one. They really brought the win with their psychedelic artwork and high energy vibes. It was a sterling effort getting the message out there too. A nice touch with the flyers as well. Alright people, that just about brings us to the end of another video. I hope you enjoyed a little bit more of Fixing Rusty Politics.
Tony Blair!
We say no!
The corrupt government!
We say no!
The corrupt government!
We say no!
The digital ID!